Sup? I'm going to Europe for the next month. This is pretty much all I'm bringing right here, and you may notice my camera is not sitting in the pile. Vital. Hey buddy, you're gonna have to move. I gotta film. Alright, I'm so sorry. So I'm gonna give you the DL over a bowl of cereal. This vlog is brought to you by I have my notes here. I'm just gonna go through them. So as you know, I'm probably supposed to be on the road at this point, running around. I was supposed to be in the Southwest where it was like warm and it's like, it's snowy as hell. Cat's not a fan. But anyways, almost choked. But anyways, the goal was to be on the road. A combination of trying to hunt for a van, plus portfolio slash bookwork. Oh, by the way, I'm making a photo book. And then the Prius was just a bit tight to be traveling on the road full time in. I tried to get the cruiser dialed in and it just was having some weird electrical things. All this stuff added up and it was just the right move to stay here in Washington. Let me explain what's up. At the beginning of January, I launched my Patreon. It's been going awesome. It's been really fun to give value back there. We've talked through pitching, we've done a few editing sessions, and I've shared thoughts on like creativity, creative process, all this stuff that I found really fun and super fulfilling, and it's been cool to hear what you guys have been getting from it as well. In the midst of that, I think I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned it here, but I've been working on book and portfolio stuff, like photo book, like I'm making an actual like hard copy, badass, like quality photo book. I'm stoked. But I wasn't as stoked on it as first because it was so much work of just sitting there in front of my computer, clicking the right arrow key, going through hundreds of thousands of images on all my hard drives. And that's another reason I wasn't traveling, because I had to have all my hard drives with me for this project, and I didn't want to be traveling with like 7 or 8 hard drives plus the backups for those drives. My car got broken into in Portland like early December. I've been kind of on edge about that idea, and the idea of traveling with all my hard drives, even if they were in the locked drawer of the cruiser, like, it's just, I couldn't fathom it. So my buddy Max, he owns this coffee shop within walking distance. I've literally been spending like 6 to 8 or more hours a day there working on this this book. Actually, check this out. And welcome to what is my mind. All these little squares down here, I don't want to reveal too much, but all these are just pictures. And as you zoom out, yup, is a complete mess, but this also perfectly represents how my mind works. I was trying to, let's go back to the cereal. I was trying to like formulate it all in my head, and then I was just like, F it, like dumped it into an Illustrator file and just started sorting it out. I'm not gonna really reveal on here how I'm going about the book and what it's about. I mean, obviously it's my photos and all this stuff, but there's a much deeper point to it, much more of a subject matter to it. I shared a 5-page example, as well as shared a little bit about my thoughts on it, and more so what it's actually about on the Patreon. Definitely totally just shamelessly plugging that right now. You can totally check it out there. If not, that's cool too. All to say, it's been emotionally and mentally just exhausting. Looking through all my past work and just, you know, you as an artist, you like hate your old work. You hate last week's work. Last week's work sucks. So just going back through all of the work that sucks, you know, it's interesting. But now that I'm curating it differently, and I have a whole subject and goal in mind for this book. So something about, I put a post on my Instagram on my second account that I'll just read. So I posted this photo on my Instagram. I taped this little thing onto my computer that says, how does it feel? And I'm just asking that a lot. I taped this on my MacBook earlier last week, making sure to remind myself of this question as I make this photo book and create with intention moving forward. It's not for wow factor, it's not for sales, but it's for feeling and showcasing a body of work on each page and through the book as a whole. It's funny as I look through my images and my entire body of work the last 4 years. One, a lot of my favorites that I feel more, they have not been shared until this book. And two, I wasn't feeling these images or stoked on seeing my images individually. But as I have this monster Adobe Illustrator file and they're all dumped in, scattered everywhere, and seeing them all together as a whole entire body of work and the way I'm actually like curating it, I'm filled with feeling. This joy, this nostalgia, this laughter, and this yearning for what this work and what this book is representing. I don't think I have to touch more on that, but that's literally been my 3 weeks. Like 8 hours a day, every day on a screen, accumulating to what was on that computer over there. At first I was just exhausted, like I said, but now that it's like somewhat looking like a book and a collection and a body and a curated piece of work, I'm so stoked on it. Like it's probably my favorite project I've ever worked on, and it's so personal to me and what I want my work to represent. Blah, 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 blah. Europe. So, Europe. So I'm going to Europe for like a month and I am stoked. But it was kind of like a weird sitch. I was planning to be there at the end of the month for a trip with a friend, and then there was like a few opportunities that kind of popped up, but like long story short, one of them I wasn't interested in, and the other one just like, I literally don't know if it's happening or not, and I don't think it is. And for those of you who have followed along on these vlogs for a while, this is actually super similar to a scenario that happened almost 2 years ago now. Our flight boards in about 15 minutes, going to Glasgow today. My dad is just gonna do that face pretty much all week on these vlogs. Just the smiling disapproval dad face. We have a layover in Reykjavik and then we have to get to Scotland, and then there's a whole, like, we don't have anything planned because a whole thing fell through. Apologize, the camera angle is tight. I'm gonna keep this quick because we're about to take off again. But basically, things get tricky when we get to Scotland because I had a job lined up that fell through, which included a vehicle. This job fell through about 4 days before we had to leave, so we have no vehicle lined up. I booked this camper van but haven't got a confirmation, and it's been like 2 or 3 days at this point. We get to Scotland, we have literally no idea what we're doing, so it should be weird. Just like I did on the Scotland trip, I'm ditching the DSLR and I'm shooting just iPhone just cause I want to. It's not sponsored by Apple, it's not sponsored by anyone. Like, this is just what I want to do, and on top of that, bring in the film camera and a shitload of film. And I'm gonna be bringing the GH5 as well. It's gonna be a dope trip. I gotta document it on the vlogs. Stoked. So for those of you here, I'll be sharing the vlogs. I don't know how fast I'll come out with them because I want to include the photos and I will be shooting film. I'll be shooting film that I need to develop, and I want to include those in the vlogs. So these could take a while to come out, but we'll play it by ear. But for those of you following along here, you're gonna like, I'm just stoked to document and share and vlog the trip. And those for you following along on the Patreon, I'm gonna put the GoPro on top of the film camera. So you're still getting behind the scenes of what I'm shooting and all that. But I'll also be doing iPhone shots, all that stuff. And yeah, I'll see how the vlogs go. I don't really know, like, I'm definitely gonna vlog it. I just don't know how fast they'll come out. That's all I'm trying to say. But I think this all kind of just comes back to what I mentioned on that Instagram post, and I kind of want to just leave this vlog with this thought. It's funny, as I look through my images, an entire body of work these last 4 years. A lot of my favorites that I feel more have not been shared until this book. As you read through that post, you kind of get where my mind is going, and in that first point I said, and a lot of my favorite images that I feel more have not been shared until this book that I'm making. And a lot of those images happen to be film. And actually, when I made my website portfolio last year, a good chunk of the portfolio, like probably 10%, was film from Hawaii, from one single trip, you know? That says something. Do the math. Like, it makes sense to be shooting more film when a 10th of my portfolio came from one trip out of my career. It's just filled with intention. And there's this quote that I have been dwelling on a lot, and it's really simple. It's like 4 words. Yeah, 4 words, and I'm just gonna leave the vlog off on this, and it's to express, not impress. See you in Europe.